morning. It's McCollum on Business. I'm Stephen McCollum, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get you updated on what's happening around the business world headed into this weekend. Obviously, the domination talk still is the Iran situation in the Middle East and oil prices. We've seen some sell-offs in precious metals. We'll give you a quick update on that coming up here in just a moment. We'll look at the market watch. We'll look at stocks we're paying attention to, local and a couple of national stories coming your way as we get ready for this weekend. And folks, it's been just a tumultuous 3 weeks here since that Iran war started in terms of the market. We had some big sell-offs the last 2 weeks, and Monday, Tuesday, partial Wednesday, we actually had some buyback and some good days there on the market. Now we're in sell-off mode again. How's this Friday look? Well, let's get into it with the Market Watch. It's pretty simple here, folks. Everything is down here on this Friday as well. Two quick things here as we're looking at the market in front of you. International benchmark of oil, the Brent crude. Well, they are up. They're up to $110 per barrel right now here on the market, which, reversing losses here that the oil has been. Yesterday it was up to 118 and went back down, back up to 110 this morning as well. West Texas Intermediate's up to $96 this morning as of right now as well. Now there's some talk out there about unsanctioning Iranian oil that's on the water. They say that's about 140 million barrels. That talk is happening right now, but the oil prices are 110,000 for the international benchmark one, the Brent crude, and then West Texas Intermediate 96, driving the market down as well today. Both metals of gold and silver, we told you about this yesterday. They both were way down yesterday. Big sell-off for them. Well, both are headed toward a losing week. Gold and silver both are as well. Gold has rebounded a little bit here this morning, early here in trading. Silver prices, well, they went down earlier, came back a little bit, and back down again here for silver as well. Spot gold was at $46.62, which is about 0.3% higher this morning. Let's see here. Silver, well, it's down 1.7% lower. It's at $71.62 an ounce for silver as well right now. So those precious metals, we'll call gold a rebound, silver, just a lot of ups and downs for silver early this morning. All of that combined, market's down as well. Dow Jones down that 240 points right now, 45,839. S&P 500 is down 64 points to 6553. The NASDAQ right now, well, it's down as well. NASDAQ currently 272 points down to 21,818. Russell 2K, the small cap index, big down as well, 39 points down to 2469. Bitcoin, well, kind of settled down yesterday. It's basically even today, but it still is down underneath that 70,000 level. It's been trading out here the last couple of weeks. 69,932 for Bitcoin here early on this Friday. I just think Bitcoin is just going to settle here in this mid-high 60s and low 70s and just oscillate back and forth there at those numbers. Stocks we're paying attention to right now, a big one here this morning all over the pre-market trading. Now, the market's been open for about 30 minutes, but Super Microcomputer was all the headlines this morning. And you can see pre-markets, it was down 26%. Market opened up last 30 minutes, well, 26% down for Super Microcomputer right now as well. This company just can't stay out of the bad news department. U.S. prosecutors have charged several company employees. Why? Well, because they were smuggling NVIDIA chips into China. Yeah. 26% down based off of that news here this morning for Super Microcomputer. Big decrease here in this marketplace with the stock market here early in trading. Next up, we're going to look at FedEx as well. FedEx, the package delivery people, they're up 1.45% right now. In pre-market, they were up over 9%. So we do expect, now it depends on the market sell-off here today and if it gets affected, but, up 9% in pre-market, 1.52% here in the last 30 minutes the market's been open. Fiscal third quarter results came out for FedEx, and they did beat Wall Street's expectations. They earned $5.25 per share. The expectation was $4.09 per share. Folks, they blew their number out of the water there, over a dollar. What is that, $1.15 or so? We don't do math here on the program. Revenue for FedEx was $24 billion. The expectation was $23.43 billion. So blew that number out of the water as well. With that, another reason why it was up big in pre-market and up here this morning, 1.36%. FedEx hiked its fiscal year earnings guidance as well. So FedEx, even with gas prices high, right? They rely a lot on airplanes and delivery vehicles, etc. Up this morning and blowing their numbers out of their water. And hey, lunch is coming up later on today. Maybe you'll hit up this place. Of course, we're talking about Chipotle. Mexican grill is what we're talking about. Well, they're up about 1% right now, 1% on the dot, actually, here right now for them. Well, they were upgraded by Mizuho, that investment company. They were upgraded to outperform. They were neutral before. Mizuho said that it sees a comp inflection, is what they called it, in the near term, along with incremental margin visibility. They do say that with recent management commentary serving as a potential positive catalyst for Chipotle. Don't forget, Chipotle's been same sales have been down. People walking into their restaurants have been down over the last several quarters. Well, at least one company is liking what they're seeing from them. That's Mizuho here. Chipotle is up 1.09% as of right now. When we come back later in the show, we're going to look at Tegna Nexstar Media Group. We do have a story on them, and then we'll look at their stock. When we do our final market watch coming up, we're going to talk about Scholastic as well. Yeah, everybody's favorite book company that's been struggling to stay alive. We'll take a look at them, making a little bit of waves here this morning on the stock market as well. But first, let's get into just stories. We're going to kind of bypass the Iran war and the implications there. We know it's oil, the Strait of Hormuz, oil. Well, it's also affecting mortgage rates. Mortgage rates jumped this week to the highest level in nearly 4 months. And by the way, we said that last week as well. So that tells you it just keeps getting higher. And this is all information coming from Freddie Mac. They released this yesterday. The average on the 30-year fixed mortgage, well, that's the benchmark that people look at. It rose to 6.22%. Last week, it was only at 6.11%. So here's the difference. So it's getting higher. However, it's not all bad news because a year ago, the 30-year loan was 6.67% last year at this time. So it is creeping up to that 6.22%, but still lower than last year. I know it's consolation if you're looking to buy a house, refinance, or anything to that effect. The average rate on a 15-year fixed mortgage, well, it rose to 5.54%. Last week, it was at 5.5% for that 15-year. 15-year fixed mortgages is really popular with people redoing their mortgages out there. And it's a slight tick up there, 0.04% for that 15-year. Mortgage rates, as you know, are not directly affected by the Fed's interest rate decisions, where they kept it no change this Wednesday is what they did. But they do track the 10-year Treasury yield. Well, the 10-year Treasury yield is hovering around 4.27% as of yesterday afternoon, and it's gone up here since this Iran war situation has happened. So, again, mortgage rates continuing to tick up every week here as this war, of course, goes on in Iran as well. So, just sit tight here with the mortgages, and this economy is not going to change. I've been saying it all along. Until people can move out of their houses, buy houses, move out of their houses, and not have just enormous payments in the meantime. The FCC came out on yesterday as well, and it said they have approved the merger, and I told you we're going to look at these stocks coming up, of that local television giants. This is that Nexstar Media Group and Tegna out there. This was an announcement last year they were going to merge. A lot of people upset about this. But this was announced. The government's going to allow it the same day the two lawsuits trying to block the deal were announced. Yes, states are not happy about this. Nexstar said last August, if you remember, that it would buy Tegna for $6.2 billion. Now, these are local stations. So these would be the companies like when Jimmy Kimmel, best ideas, Jimmy Kimmel was quote unquote canceled. It wasn't ABC, it was the affiliates like these companies that said they wouldn't air his show and put the pressure on ABC to take him off the air for a little bit. That's the side we're talking about here, local stuff. The deal would create a company that owns 265 television stations in 44 states, and then also the District of Columbia. Most of those local affiliates are ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC as well. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr said the company has agreed to divest itself of six of those stations. The deal needed the approval of the Republican Trump administration's FCC. It's interesting we have to say Republican there. You'll see why in a minute. Because the government had to waive rules that limit how many local stations that one company can own. Nexstar said it had also received approval from the Justice Department, but attempts to get that independently verified, well, nobody, at least from what I saw, CNBC, Fox Business, CNN Business, I didn't see anybody verifying that claim out there as well. Now, so it's been approved. This merger's been approved, and then yesterday, attorney generals in 8 states and DirecTV, by the way, separately, they filed lawsuits with the U.S. District Court in Sacramento. They want to block the merger. The lawsuits make similar arguments that the deal would lead to higher prices for consumers and stifle local journalism. The action for the state side, we know DirecTV filed one. DirecTV filed one because they say their costs are going to go up, which means they're going to have to pass those along to consumers out there. So that's why DirecTV filed this claim. But in terms of the state side, top lawyers in California, Colorado, which means the attorney generals, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, New York, North Carolina, Oregon, and Virginia. Yeah. So the Republican administration raised some rules, approved this merger. Now, in terms of the president, everybody on the state side that's filed a lawsuit yesterday to block this, all Democratic attorneys generals and led by Democratic states out there. That it's a partisan battle here over this deal. So Nexstar does have a tendency to consolidate newsrooms in communities where it owns more than one station. Makes sense. Most companies would do that. Both of these lawsuits, the DirecTV one and the states ones, express concerns that the merger would hurt the local news business, which has been struggling for years. There are 31 markets across the country where Nexstar and Tegna own at least one station, which that's a lot of layoffs. That's a lot of consolidation coming this way if this deal does go through. And we get that number actually from the state's lawsuit to file there. So this isn't over for these guys merging. We'll see what the state's battle is here on if they can get it through in DirecTV's attempt to stop this merger. But did get government approval out there yesterday. And we'll look at the stocks there of Nexstar and Tegna here coming up when we get to the next section of the Market Watch. And then Major League Baseball did something yesterday. And I'll just say this, Pete Rose, if you know the story of Pete Rose, well, he's rolling over in his grave right now. Yeah, because Major League Baseball is fully embracing gambling and now the prediction markets. Yeah, Major League Baseball is entering an official partnership with Polymarket. If you could be familiar more with Kalshi, Polymarket's the same type of company. There's Kalshi. Well, there's an agreement between the two. Between those two. And now there's also agreement with the federal commission that oversees the prediction markets. Yes, all this to collaborate in integrity concerns with a sports franchise, a sports, league joining with a company that promotes gambling, pretty much. Major League Baseball said in a statement that it has memorandum of understanding with the chair of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. They're the federal group that oversees these types of companies. The memorandum is to further protect the integrity of baseball by ensuring swift response to incidents and anticipating emerging trends more strongly. They're making it sound like this agreement is going to register, and they're doing some things here, but they're going to notice some prediction market changes, a la, I'm not saying a player's going to do it, but just in case you see a large amount of money going on one thing at a certain time, they'll be investigating that stuff to make sure nobody has inside information. Prediction markets, they're big concerns. There's Arizona just filed a lawsuit against Kalshi to shut them down here. No, Utah's going after Kalshi as well. These prediction markets have raised concerns from states and everybody, but also from sports leagues already working with them to combat issues around illegal sports gambling. Legal sports books, well, they must follow regulations set by states, but prediction markets, they've been in lawsuits. That's why Arizona's suing Kalshi. They argue that their trades, which are those contracts that you sign, well, they say they're derivative markets and they fall underneath that government, the federal jurisdiction there with that CFTC agency. Big lawsuits happening everywhere. So this partnership with Polymarket will give Major League Baseball and Polymarket and its brokers exclusive access to Major League Baseball logos to be used within its prediction market products. Polymarket will also get access to official league data from Sports Radar. These are all part of the deal. Also, Major League Baseball's exclusive global distributor of data for prediction markets is that Sports Radar, and they're going to have direct access to that to make their decisions on these contracts. Under terms of the memorandum with the government, well, Major League Baseball and the CFTC did agree to share information regarding the integrity of professional baseball and the related prediction markets. Shared information will be treated confidentially between the two agencies. They're actually going to have designated representatives, and they'll meet regularly to go over what they are finding. I mean, Pete Rose, like I said, is just rolling over right now with all the garbage he took for reportedly gambling on baseball. And now they're openly embracing it, and not only just gambling into the sports side, they're openly embracing these prediction markets as well. But Major League Baseball isn't alone. NHL back in October, it reached a multi-year partnership agreement with Polymarket and Kalshi, which is, like I said, they're competitors there in that prediction markets platform. Major League Soccer also announced a partnership with Polymarket earlier this year. I believe it was the end of January, beginning of February. NBA superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, he's the Milwaukee Bucks. He announced last month that he has become a shareholder in Kalshi as well. And Major League Baseball said, this isn't the only, we want to do business with every company like this so we can better protect Major League Baseball is what they are rambling around. And it's interesting concept here, how much they're embracing these companies. Look, it's money for one. They say it's on the side of regulation and safety, but it's money driven here as well. They're not doing it for free. Put it that way. Hey, Rivian, which has that plant down there in Casa Grande to build stuff, Rivian and Uber, well, they came out yesterday and they announced a partnership worth $1.25 billion. This is all to accelerate the two companies' plans for those autonomous vehicles. They wanted to deploy up to 50,000 fully autonomous robo-taxis within the next few years ahead. Under this agreement between the two companies, Uber will invest up to $1.25 billion in Rivian through 2031. It is subject to achieving autonomous performance milestones by specific dates by Rivian. The two companies have agreed to an initial $300 million investment that is following the signing of the deal. Instantly, you sign the deal, Rivian gets $300 million. And obviously, there's going to be some regulatory questions on this, so there will need to be regulatory approvals. Uber plans to purchase, now either directly from Rivian or through its fleet partners, 10,000 fully autonomous Rivian R2 robo-taxis. And Uber, well, they'll have option to purchase up to 40,000 more in 2030. Rivian's autonomous fleet of R2 robo-taxis will be available exclusively through the Uber platform. That deal was signed a little while ago, last year sometime. These two companies are planning to begin the initial deployment of robo-taxis up in San Francisco and Miami in 2028. Then after that, they'll expand to more than 24 cities by 2031 coming your way. So, look, Rivian is a company that we don't know if it's growing or not, but they're getting people to invest in them as they are continuing to have stuff coming up to keep growing. And that's obviously going to help that Casa Grande market out there as well. We told you that there's performance milestones here. And if all the autonomous performance milestones are met, well, Rivian and Uber will have deployed thousands of unsupervised robo-taxis across 25 cities in the U.S., Canada, and Europe by the end of 2031. So that's the end game here with this partnership between the two companies. And look, very familiar with this company, commercials everywhere. You see the signs everywhere. Well, excuse me, everybody. It's an 80-year-old family-owned furniture company on top of it. They say they're the largest furniture manufacturer in the world. I don't think they're actually attributed to that, but they claim that out there. Well, now they're going to cut hundreds of jobs while they're doing some restructuring, and they're going to cut those jobs at a Texas plant. Of course, we're talking about Ashley Furniture. Ashley Furniture filed a worker adjustment and retraining notification. Those are those WARN notices with the Texas Workforce Commission. They're indicating that 266 employees will be laid off by May 7th. The company is going to consolidate its Mesquite facility into another one as well. So the WARN notice was initially obtained by Texas news outlet Cron. Well, they indicated that 109 upholstery training workers, 31 machine operators, 24 packing employees, additional cuts to inspectors, quality supervisors, and material handlers. Those are those jobs that are going to be removed here coming up. Yeah, nothing says better than let's cut our inspectors, quality supervisors. Let's cut those guys. Eee, not a good look, right? The furniture industry has been having a lot of issues here over the last couple of years, and even in the big inflation periods here over the last several. Back in October, the U.S. implemented that 10% tariff on softwood lumber, 25% duty on certain imported furnitures as well. Those do remain in effect, even though that is not part of the emergency act there that the Supreme Court deemed illegal. And also, the furniture industry is taking a hit because fewer Americans are moving, and people don't buy furniture as often unless they are moving. Mortgage rates, of course, hovering above that 6%. We told you 6.22% out there. Pending home sales down 5.8% year over year. And that's according to the February data from the National Association of Realtors. So this industry continued to take a hit. And Ashley Furniture, they're trying, consolidating some of their warehouse stuff there and moving forward from that perspective as they're continuing to take that hit. And folks, it's Friday. McCollum on Business keeps rolling on. When we come back, we'll look at, of course, Market Watch again, see how it's going to end today here early in the morning. Then, of course, get into a local story here and kind of a famous person coming into town here at the end of May for an ASU graduation. We'll tell you about the keynote speaker and who else is coming to speak here with the graduation coming up at Arizona State. All that. And then this weekend, I know it's going to be hot, but it's got to be a favorite event out there over in the West Valley. I'll tell you about Luke Days. So come on back. Call them on business. And we're back here. McCollum on Business got through the week. Yesterday we hit 100, and I think it was 101, right, at Phoenix Sky Harbor. Today it's going to be even hotter. And then we start to cool down, but it's going to be over 100 degrees, they say. the rest of the weekend. So everybody stay cold, stay hydrated over the next couple days as well. We're going to talk about some outdoor event. NHRA's in town this weekend. Like I said, Luke Days. We'll tell you about that coming up here. Luke Days. So stay hydrated here this weekend with all of that happening as well. You just saw the commercial there for the Real Matrix. That is out. The Angry Patriot, he wants you to come into this show with an open mind. New episode hits Robot TV today at 10 a.m. and then hits the podcast system. Search The Real Matrix, Angry Patriot on your favorite podcast system. If you want to listen to it, it comes out at noon there as well. And then you could find the free versions of the show. It's the same version you get here at Robot TV, the free version on Rumble as well. Rumble.com is where you can find, that's a YouTube alternative, where you can find the full versions there of The Real Matrix. The shows hit noon there on Rumble as well. Rumble.com/user/TME Media pops right up there for you as well. We're going to be putting some sports stuff on there. Take advantage of that page since we're using it anyhow for The Real Matrix, but that is up there for you at Rumble as well. Of course, we have the YouTube page, TME Media AZ, which has all of the other programming we do here, the main event, the pit stop, McCollum on Business. We're going to do some preview stuff for the Real Matrix on there. We've been working on that. A lot of episodes out so far, so taking a little bit longer to get some preview shows up, but that's coming here shortly. And all of these shows, this show, McCollum on Business, the main event, which comes up 8 to 10 a.m. live here at Robot TV, on demand after that, all on the YouTube page, including the pit stop, which is up for this week. Look back at Las Vegas, ahead to Darlington this weekend as well here around NASCAR. All posted right now on for the week until today. Once we get done here, we'll get this one up. As soon as the main event's done, that'll be up by 11 o'clock on the YouTube page as well. So please like, subscribe the YouTube page, share us with your friends out there. TME Media AZ. Follow us on Twitter. Obviously, every show except for this one has a Twitter page. This one we're going to create and then just share the business stories out there. It's just we're getting everything kind of lined up. TME Sports Show is where you can find the main event. The Real Matrix, where you can find the Real Matrix as well on no Twitter for that, but at least on the podcast systems. At the Pit Stop Talk is where you can find the social media on X for the Pit Stop. Follow us all there as well. And then the parent company, our media company, has a Twitter page as well, an X page, and that is the TME Media AZ is where you can find that. That's where we're going to put up snippets. The regular pages will repost them out there, but we're going to put promotion stuff, things we do around here, and everything. If you could give us a follow there and get it out, we'd appreciate that very much as well. And folks, busy Friday here, and it's a hot day, so let's get it going with another look at the Market Watch. We told you gas has been up here today, or at least oil has been up. Brent crude at $110 per barrel. West Texas Intermediate at $96 per barrel right now as well. And the market, gold is back a little bit. Silver is just going up and down here today. It's a roller coaster ride for silver. And the stock market is getting worse here as the longer it's been open. We're about an hour into the opening of the markets. 362 points down right now for the Dow. S&P 500 is down to 71 points. NASDAQ's down 200 to 78. Russell 2K, that small cap index, down 54 points right now. Even Bitcoin, well, it's basically even, 11 points, 13 points, fluctuates quickly as you see there, but it is under 70,000, just barely, but 69,926 for Bitcoin here today. By the way, the S&P 500, it's going to be its fourth straight losing week here this week for the S&P 500. I'm sorry, not just the S&P 500, all the indexes, Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, and the Russell 2K. Fourth straight losing week for these these indexes. And it's all based off of the Iran war as we are into coming up on its fourth week starting at tomorrow here on Saturday. Stocks we're paying attention to right now, well, we talked about Tegna and Nexstar Media Group. So let's pull up Tegna stock here right now. Of course, both of these guys announced they had closed its $6 billion acquisition there. Tegna is the one being purchased here, 1.28%. They're down here this morning. as well. Both of them were up a little bit earlier today, so it's flipped here for these guys. But Tegna right now is down the 1.28. Though up Nexstar Media Group as well. Nexstar Media Group is the one buying Tegna out there. Nexstar is up 3.97% here today as well, because they did get that approval from the FCC. We saw, we gave you that story earlier today. So that's what those stocks are doing right now. And Nexstar up 3%, Tegna down here today as well. And then finally, last stock, we're going to look at Scholastic. Every school child's heart here, right? Posters of Lamborghinis, the books, begging your parents for money to get in there and buy something. Up big today, 10.31% and everything. Look, this is a company that's struggling these days. Well, they reported a smaller than expected loss for the third quarter. They lost an adjusted 15 cents per share. Analysts were expecting a loss of 37 cents per share. That's a big improvement. I know there's still a loss, but that's a big improvement in the loss from expectations. That's why Scholastic up 10.63% here today on this Friday. Of course, we don't know what's in tail here for the weekend in terms of the business stuff out there. But one thing we do know coming up in May for graduation at ASU, the class of 2026, well, they'll be addressed by Harrison Ford himself, at the spring undergraduate commencement ceremony coming up on May 11th at Mountain America Stadium. Harrison Ford. You see the picture on there. You know the name. Han Solo, is his big one there, but did a lot of things. He'll receive an honorary Doctor of Arts and Humane Letters during the ceremony. He's had a 6-decade career. Blade Runner, Witness. Gosh, can't even name them all. Obviously, Indiana Jones. Yes. He was in Witness, where he was nominated for an Academy Award at that time for that movie. The actor serves as a vice chair of Conservation International, and he attended the September 2025 launch of ASU's Rob Walton School of Conservation Futures in New York City. ASU President Michael Crow called Harrison Ford one of the leading voices for conservation. That's why he's coming out here to do this. And if you notice a theme here with this graduation, because along with Harrison Ford giving that commencement speech, the philanthropist, Howard Graham Buffett. You might not have heard of Howard, but you certainly know his dad, Warren, out there. Yeah, he's also going to receive a honorary Doctor of Humane Letters and deliver remarks at the service as well. Buffett is chairman and CEO of the Howard G. Buffett Foundation. That's one of the world's largest private philanthropic organizations. As I said, you might not know Howard, but you definitely know his dad, Warren Buffett, out there as well. He's the son of Warren and Susan Thompson Buffett. The foundation has partnered with ASU on multiple projects that Howard Foundation has, including collaborations with the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. So there you go. Two heavyweights coming into town to do commencement addresses there at Arizona State University, May 11th for their graduation as well. So if you live in the West Valley, you live anywhere around Luke Air Force Base, just be prepared. Major road closures are going to be happening this weekend, and specifically around Luke Air Force Base because it's the Luke Days Air Show this weekend, and it's going to be a hot one out there, so make sure you bring a lot of water and that. Closures out there in Glendale will run from about 5 a.m. on Saturday through 6 p.m. on Sunday. If you're headed out there, well, don't head straight to the Air Force Base, because it's easy to go, Luke Air Force Base in your GPS. No, instead, they're telling you, the officials say to follow directions to designated parking lots to reduce the traffic congestion around the base. Parking lots open at 8 a.m. Flying performances are scheduled to begin at around 10:30 in the morning. Shuttle buses will run from the Desert Diamond lot and the Dysart Road lot to the entrance to the event there at Luke Air Force Base. If you are a paid VIP and ADA parking, well, it's accessible via Litchfield Road from Northern Parkway. Pedestrians that are parking on Litchfield Road, as well as rideshare drop-off locations, are available for you. So look at that. They're giving you plenty of options to kind of avoid the traffic out there. They also say get on there and go to lukedays.com review the parking map there before leaving home, and give you an idea of where you're headed. It gets congested fast out there for Luke Days. So this is an annual air show. It runs this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. It's a free event also. It features performances by the U.S. Blue Angels. They're tentatively scheduled for 12:10 p.m. performances, but also the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds are going to be here as well. Both of them. They're tentatively scheduled for 3 p.m. Performances for them. There's other aerial acts happening, including the U.S. Air Force F-35A demonstration team, the Tora Pearl Harbor reenactment, the U.S. Marine Corps F-35B demonstration, and there's going to be a Shockwave jet truck out there. There's going to be a bunch of grand activities. You can tour kind of the planes and helicopters all out there at Luke Days. Ground activities will include static aircraft exhibits, meaning they don't move, a U.S. Air Force Career Expo, a K9 demonstration, and an F-35 weapons load demonstration also out there at Luke Days. So if you're heading out there, it's a favorite event of mine. I haven't been out there in a couple years. And the heat this weekend, that does not sound like fun to me. But, man, Blue Angels and Thunderbirds might be worth a trip out there to the West Valley this weekend. And, folks, thanks for joining us here this whole week, especially today here on McCollum on Business. Appreciate you joining us live here at 7 a.m. Successful show here at 7 a.m. We appreciate the viewership live. There's an uptick in it, and we appreciate that as you guys are getting ready for work. Of course, as soon as I get done here, we go right into the main event, 8 to 10 a.m. Also, those of you that catch the show on demand at Robat TV, big numbers there as well. We need to get those YouTube ones up, but we'll keep working on that promotion as well. But we appreciate you here at Robat TV. We'll keep it rolling here on Monday morning, 7 a.m. for McCollum on Business. We roll into the main event now. Don't forget the pit stop's up right now on demand for you as well. And follow me at the Pit Stop Talk as well on X. Appreciate you very much. We'll see you on Monday morning, folks. Have a great Friday. Stay cool.